America is once again embroiled in an uncertain and bloody war in Iraq. Washington sources now claim that Turkey has agreed to let US-led forces use its military bases to pursue the anti-terrorist campaign, including an airbase in southern Turkey, just 100 miles, a few minutes flying time from the Syrian border. For its part, Turkey says it will train 4,000 so-called moderate militants to help in the fight against ISIL terrorists. However, at the very same time, Turkey has assisted ISIL terrorists by blocking the supply of military equipment and reinforcement for Kurdish fighters defending Kobani. What many do not know is that Turkey is the only country also buying ISIL's stolen oil. So just who is protecting human life in the region? After all, the United States and the United Kingdom have been responsible for the deaths of more than 1.5 million people in the last 13 years alone. The shocking death of Press TV reporter Serena Shim in highly suspicious circumstances in Turkey is another disturbing and sinister addition to this catalogue of death. So how is America persuading other countries to join its war? And why can't it persuade Turkey to take military action of its own? These are some of the simple questions we sought to answer. And we began by asking, in the light of this enormous death toll, whether the West has been effective at protecting human life in that region. Here's what the American public thought.
I think it's just a matter of prioritizing based on each of their national interests.
They're good at protecting your lives if you're white. If you're not, they're not.
I think these countries are pretty awful at protecting human lives, and I feel like this dates back to the existence of slavery back in the early existence of ourselves as countries. Even back then, we didn't treat slaves as people. So that clearly shows that there's something possibly morally wrong with these countries and that we don't value the existence of others.
It's a yes or no answer. Yes, they do protect some individuals in certain countries. No, because it's all in self-interest. And when a nation battles another nation in self-interest lives, it doesn't matter.
I think it's a give and take because, yes, they have their laws to work to protect human life, but whoever's in charge of that doesn't necessarily always follow the rules because people in power sometimes don't always do what they're supposed to.
I mean, it seems like they're more good at protecting their own people than the general human population.
I don't think that they're doing very good at protecting the human life, absolutely. It should be a war between the government and the military, not civilians ourselves.
Fascinating and varied answers. We turn to our experts for their perspective on the death toll and the West's ability to protect life in that region.
It's obvious that the UK, USA and their allies, the small countries who follow them or their tails, in fact they are mainly responsible for all these mass murders. You can say last 13 years or you can go more. In the Middle East, in Africa, in some other places, mass murders happens because of, I should not say neglect or their incapability, but I think they do this on purpose to redesign the world, the different geographical areas like Middle East, Africa, or mainly now Middle East, redesign and organize things according to their interest, so they don't care about how many people died, what happened, destruction, all these things. At the end, they are interested only, the Western power are interested only their own benefits, how they can control the rest of the world.
Those figures are so friendly. If you forget about Vietnam, I guess. If you talk about Japan, if you just go a bit far, the number's going to grow and grow, we know that. But these people, I won't specifically say that country or this country, but they just create the cause first, they need a reason to attack, then attack to the country, they bring democracy, and they become a hero. And it's horrible. I don't think those people should be there to bring up any democracy and a kind of peace to that land. If I speak especially about Kobani, all those people, I'm a Kurdish myself, those people just need probably better weapons to defeat those people, ISIS. They don't need, probably they don't need any other help. But as a human being, I don't think they care about the human life or why they're going to protect it for.
Recently, the United States, and to an extent the United Kingdom, have persuaded Australia, Denmark, Belgium and the Netherlands to participate in the bombing of Iraq and Syria. How does Washington persuade other nations to get involved in this kind of military exercise? We put that question to the American people.
We have a way of just using words, using media, and for the guilt complex to draw other nations in. But in the same breath, I do believe that certain actions are necessary.
Monetarily. That is what we do well.
Maybe they ally with people who have similar economic interests, or make agreements based on things that will benefit these countries in the future, probably by investing in them in some way.
I would probably say propaganda. I wouldn't know the exact forms of propaganda they've used, but there is proof when you generate a lie and you act like it's true, there is going to become a point when that lie becomes true for others if you get enough support behind it. So I feel like that's probably a way they're going to persuade them to participate within the bombings.
I'm not really sure. I would guess that to maintain relationships, they probably promise them things to, if you help me with this, I'll help you with that. I mean, I do the same thing with my friends.
Well, I think they're doing a good job at trying to, more countries need to get involved with what the campaign is all about, is trying to stop ISIL from taking over territories that don't belong to them.
It's mostly with fear. You kind of put it all in the news every day, there's something's going to come get you if you don't help us, So eventually people join, but I feel like they don't learn from their own history. Kind of like, the same thing they did, they bombed everything before, it's not really working, so it's not like you're going to bomb a place, it's just going to change out of nowhere, The ideology is still just rooted deeply in a place, so.
So not great clarity there from the American people. Do our experts have a clearer perspective on America's persuasion techniques?
I do disagree with the word with convinced. If we see the Queen of UK is the Queen of, the President, also officially the head of Australia. And I think those countries, we can add some more other countries, they are volunteer and they are very keen to join United States and the UK coalition because they want to take their share. Not in terms of, in sake of fighting terrorism or any kind of such kind of good actions, but just to take their share. They don't want to lose their position in the world, so they show their solidarity. It's not convincing, but I think voluntarily, they just put themselves there. So we are here, we support you, we are together, we work together for same target.
Keeping the people blind is the main issue, Anya. So you don't let your people to know about the things, about the facts, about what's happening, who's been raped, who's been killed, what happened to somebody's sister, what happened to somebody's brother. So they're actually a really good actor about this. So if you just go and ask, probably, because I come from that land, I know about the things, but if you just go and ask someone from the UK, probably, if you just go and ask them the name of ISIS, they will just come up with different things. They won't even know it's a terrorist organization and call themselves an Islamic State. It's got nothing to do with Islam anyway. As I said, they're keeping the people blind. And this is dirty politics. And if the people don't know about anything, you can just rule anything. You can do anything you like. And that's what they do. And when it comes to convincing someone and other countries, as I said, maybe some of them are pure to join them. They don't really know anything about this. But some of them is in the dirty politics anyway. So they have to be allied with the US or the UK.
The Turkish military is watching ISIL operate in Syria within firing range. Why are NATO, the United States and Britain not telling Turkey to use its firepower to damage ISIL on the ground? That's the question we put to the American public.
Political business. It's all about politics.
I guess maybe it's a trust issue? I'm not really, it's difficult to understand what's going on, because, who are we getting our information from?
I guess it's just their way of dealing with conflict. Maybe they're telling Turkey not to use bombs, not to go in, I guess as a means to minimize conflict or to minimize ground conflict.
Yeah, I'm from Turkey, so this is interesting because tell the truth, I have no idea because it's on the board. It's probably, you know, Turkish. If there's one country that should interfere, it's Turkey because it's like on their own border. You know, they're all spilling over. So, tell the truth, I have no idea because there's always politics involved. It's not just like, oh, there's a freedom involved.
I mean, Turkey should be trying to do everything they can to wipe those folks, the ISIL out. And I really don't understand why there should be any, why the U.S. or the U.K. is telling them to hold back. I mean, when you have a force there that's willing to fight, let them do the fighting. Because the last thing I want to see is U.S. troops there, unless they absolutely have to be there.
They want to be involved, but they're trying not to seem like they're in charge of everybody, and so they feel if they tell them, straight out tell them that they're gonna be viewed as someone as trying to be in charge of the whole world. So
it seems like if too many people get involved, it might become a world thing. So maybe that might be it, but honestly, I have no idea.
So those are the views of the American public. What do our experts say?
I think there are different aspects of these questions we can answer from this different aspects. First, no country should tell other country to fire or not, and the Turkey should not listen other countries to fire or not. If there is a common interest for humanity, we can say why Turkey doesn't stop ISIS, because Turkey shouldn't stop someone whom they support. There's around 30,000-40,000 ISIS militants, the terrorist individuals, whatever you call. They didn't come to Syria through air. They used Turkey, Jordan, obviously, Turkey and Jordan. Some of them, they're Syrian and Iraqi locals, but the rest who come from out of the world, they use Turkey, and Turkey give every kind of facility, easiness, let them to enter. When the Kobani faces a massacre, Turkey did cross the border to civilians. This is very important, civilians, not the militia or not the anything military operation, but the civilians. On the other side, the western part of the border is like open door for millions. But once it was about the Kobani, it was about the ISIS. So it is they stop it because they want ISIS to suffocate the Kobani, because Turkey, this is Turkish interest.
As much as I follow from the news, the south part of Kurdistan, the management of Barzani, they've been asking for a corridor, just going up to the north of Turkey, carry on all the way down to the Kobani, like upwards, and pass the border from there, because that's the only point you can pass. Kobani is surrounded by west, east, and the south. They've been saying no for the last, I don't know how many days. It's been more than a month. But what happened now is, I don't think they don't say. They did say something, because Turkey did change their mind. And I just watched the video before I come and see you. Some weapons left the South Kurdistan, and they going up to Turkey now. And they will cross the south border of Turkey and will go to the Syria. In Kurdish we call it Rojava, to support the Kobani. But if you ask me why Turkey doesn't do anything about this, because those people are Kurd.
Kurds in Turkey have wanted to cross over into Syria to help their people fight against ISIL, but Turkey has been preventing them from doing so. Is it fair for Turkey to have simply allowed ISIL to massacre the residents of Kobani? We put that question to the American public.
No, it's not, but war is ugly. And I'm 63, and so I have seen a lot of wars, and at the end of the day, people get killed.
Anytime there's an issue of human rights, I think the argument is always, well, which rights should be preserved and which rights should be fought for? The rights of my personal group or the rights of this group right next to me? And so it seems like countries and politicians are always making an argument along those lines.
Obviously not, but Turkey may have its hand tied as well, so it's hard to decide to say.
A human life is a human life, and it shouldn't be devalued in any way. So I think it's wrong.
I feel like that's more protection for like don't get me wrong, wanting to protect your people is a good thing, but I feel like I understand like maybe they're just uncomfortable sending people into a war zone, because it's probably where they're going probably won't be as war zone, but with how everything seems to escalate, that might change.
ISIL shouldn't be allowed to do anything. I don't understand why Turkey would be holding back on their citizens. I don't understand why that is. It's a tragedy in terms of what's going on, how ISIL is taking over these towns, especially on the Turkish-Syrian border. I would think Turkey would not to say encourage their people to do that, but they would use their military, like in your previous question, to do something about it. So I don't know why they're holding their folks back to do that.
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, even if the Turkish government doesn't want to get involved, they can at least let their citizens do what they want to help, because even if they didn't fight, even if they brought, I don't know, aid or something like that, they should let them help, because even if they're not going to do it officially, they should let others.
So, a mix of sentiments there. We put the same question to our experts and invited them to share their reasoning on this matter.
Kobani is a strategical issue. It's not like humanitarian side. If we leave it the humanitarian side one side, we will not ignore it, but leave it one side, we can discuss separately. Strategically, PYD, the extension of PKK, controls there, and is a kind of now another second Kurdistan in the region. First one is head of Bart, which is Iraqi Kurdistan, then now another Kurdistan is emerging. So it could lead in near future very dangerous positions for Turkey. It could be a good example for Kurdish people to preserve or present their identity, to protect their identity, because which was denied by Turkey, and Turkey is giving Kurdish rights step by step. So now Turkey wants to destroy this emerging state, and it is a good chance for Turkey to close eyes or help ISIS, so let them to occupy the area and destroy the Kurdish political structures there.
Of course it's not fair. I mean, don't worry about Kobani. It's not fair to kill anyone on the earth. It doesn't matter about what religion, what race. But special things about this case, Kurds living on the north, I'll say, and in the south, they're cousins to each other. I've got a few friends. I mean, he's married to someone who's like first-generation cousin. She's a Syrian citizen. He's a Turkish citizen. So they're not actually just trying to help someone else. They're like cousins, relatives. I don't know, have you seen any Eid in Turkey, but if you see the border, people keep throwing each other like blanket, those kind of gifts to each other. When it's Eid, there's a border you can cross, but you can throw the gifts. It's just 100% right to try to help these people. I mean, if you ask me, like from my side of Kurds, it's 100% right to try to help the Kobani, because, as I said, it's just a matter of human being. Try to help someone, but in this case, they're trying to help their cousins.
It is claimed that Turkey is providing weapons to ISIL and also is the only country to buy stolen oil from them. Do people believe that Turkey is really trying to fight ISIL? Here's what the American public thinks.
Yes, because they do have self-interest to do that, but they don't want to look like that.
I don't know. I would imagine that people do, just because people have diverse beliefs, but I think anyone would be hard-pressed to think that any large government has genuine humanitarian interests.
I mean, it doesn't sound a whole lot like it. I mean, maybe they don't like it. Maybe we could convince them, but it doesn't sound a whole lot like it.
They've always been on the winning administration or the winning regime side. So now that that regime is sort of pushed aside, they don't know what they want to do. If they support the rebels, then they may lose if ISIS does win, if ISIS, and they have gained a lot of control over Syria, if they do win, the United States have backed away. We promised to train, but we have backed away. And if ISIS does win, they lose control for supporting the rebels. If they don't win, they lose control for supporting ISIS. So I think Turkey really is a wait and see sort of game, and that's why they don't want their Kurdish people to go in. And I truly believe that they themselves don't want to go in and bomb.
I feel like that's just war business, honestly, because like it's not only Turkey doing it. Like we found like bullet casings from America, like from the ISIS people. So it just seems more like that. Just seems more of an issue of like greedy businesses just using the suffering of millions to fill their pockets.
I don't believe they're fully trying to fight. I believe they're just trying to maintain it. I believe they just want all of the opposition to end, and they just want to live in their country without any issues.
No, I don't think so at all. I don't know why they even try to pretend anymore. They should just make it official. If they're not letting people help fight them and they're still buying stuff and pretty much supporting them, they might as well just make it official.
So, whose side is Turkey really on? As ever, we gave the last word to our experts.
There is no reason for Turkey to fight ISIL. ISIL is not a threat for Turkey. ISIL serves interests of Turkey in Syria because ISIL is a hope for Turkey. Because Turkish policy based on overthrowing President Bashar Assad, and since the project fails, whatever the hopes, wherever it comes, Turkey just jump on it. So the last hope is ISIS, I think, and that's why Turkey is not going to fight ISIS.
I have seen many pictures and the videos of ISIS weapons. Some of the missiles they use, they need a ramp for that. They need a truck. It was made by some Turkish companies because you can clearly see the name of the company on the truck. So this is not something hidden, I'll say. It doesn't show on the Turkish news, of course, but it's not something hidden. That's definitely there, and we know Turkey is supporting, especially that 49 hostages has been released from Iraq. If you might know about the Turkish embassy was kidnapped by the ISIS. They've been released straight after Eid, and this kind of group like keep chopping people's head, keep raping the women. They even do the sex slaves and everything. Why are they gonna release 49 people without getting something? And they have to obtain something. And I didn't see the pictures, but it was on the news. People did witness that. Straight after that, Turkey started sending some weapons, heavy weapons, kind of tanks, to north part of Syria, which is Rojava. And as I said, that there are blind people in everywhere, in UK, US, or the Turkey. The current president of Turkey, he took 50% of the votes when he came. But some of them don't really know what's happening, and some of them trying to be blind. And if you ask to people of Turkey now, probably I'll say 60% will say, we know Turkey does help the ISIS. And I don't think they're gonna believe that. I don't believe myself personally Turkey is trying to fight the ISIS, because it's just a fire of trains.
By following Western military policy on ISIL, Turkey is in fact supporting the very countries which created the conditions for ISIL to flourish in the first place. These militants, backed by Saudi Arabia and Qatar, are massacring people across the region and then uploading videos as proof of their atrocities to the wider world. And all the while, Turkey is helping America conceal its enormous influence in the Middle East. The West claims to be helping in the fight against terrorism. In reality, America and Turkey's efforts against ISIL are absurd, contradictory, and dangerous. Far from making things better, they are only making things worse.